Alright, this is the Sailrite 111 sewing machine, and I want to talk about how the compound feed mechanism, walking foot mechanism, works on this machine. If you are concerned that the feet are not making contact to the mating surface, what you need to do to verify that is drop the presser foot, which I did through the back lever here, or if you've got the knee lift attached, take your knee off of it in order to drop the foot. And then you want to rotate the machine. And what we're looking for is we should get separation of the presser foot. In other words, the presser foot should come up maximum at about not quite 3 millimeters, which it is here. And then the inner foot, you can see it coming up, should come up about 3 millimeters, which it is here. So this is set up properly. But notice, you might say, well, the foot's not making contact with the feed dog. Well, it shouldn't be making contact with the feed dog here when the needle is up. But when the needle comes down, then those two components make contact, meaning the walking foot and the feed dog, and then the presser foot comes up at that point. So you really should have either a case of full contact between the presser foot and the throat plate, or full contact of the walking foot and the feed dog, depending upon the rotation of the machine. Now, if this range, in other words, if the height's not correct, that is controlled up top here with either this or this screw. And they both really do the same thing. If you look at what I'm adjusting here, by loosening this, I allow this particular bracket here to change angle. And this connection is what controls the presser foot. But via this bracket, it also controls the walking foot. So the connection goes from here to here, and the two are interconnected. When this part pivots fore and aft, that's what's creating the motion. See how this bracket is rocking between the inner and the outer foot, or the walking foot and the presser foot. So what we can do, though, is if we loosen this, you'll see what happens here right away. Oh, and you might want to, if you're new at this, you might want to put a mark right where the gap is for where you started, so that you can always get back to that point. So I'm going to loosen this there, and it just moved. Notice that the presser foot is now loose. So I can, at this point, raise the presser foot higher and lock it down. I'm just going to snug it because this isn't right. And notice what we have now is we have a case where clearly the presser foot is too high because it is not making good contact with the throat plate. It's actually making pretty decent contact. But the walking foot is never separating from the feed dog, which is incorrect, because I'm not getting pressure off of the presser foot to lift the center foot. So I've got that wrong. Let's go the other direction. So now I'm going to raise the center foot too high, and you'll see what happens here is I'm getting huge lift on the center foot, and I'm getting a very minimal lift to the outer foot, which is not correct, although that would still work. But when you ask us about a situation where the foot is not making contact, there we go. Here's a case where the outer foot's not separating at all, and the center foot it's still making contact, though, because it has to be making some contact for the outer foot to even move. So it would be very unusual for a machine to have a foot that's not actually making proper contact. But let's go back. I'm going to set this back on my mark, and I want you to see it again. And what you need to test is you want to test to see if, when you take the material out, are the 2 feet moving up and down on one another. If they are, I might have that a little bit too high and not enough height here. If they are, then it is functioning properly and there's nothing to adjust. Lower this just a hair. And we're back to what we want. So if you have an issue where you're not feeding well in a couple layers of material, I guess we need some further clarification as to what doesn't seem to be operating properly. Oh, I want you also to notice how high this feed dog's coming up. Notice at its maximum height, the feed dog comes up basically to the valley of the tooth. So that'll give you an idea on the height of the feed dog.